Alright, so next on the agenda, I'm just going to drop the rear diff out quickly while Ben's here before we take off for the night. Not together, that is. It sounded a bit sus. Separately, separate cars, separate places. It's not how it sounds.
I'm not even having dinner with you. No, yeah. Not happening.
That's pretty weird actually. We normally have dinner together. We had lunch though. Double zinger, stacker.
It was good. Recommend.
So, all you got to do to get the rear diff out basically, or to get the axles out, is take your lateral link bolt out, which goes through there, plop that up there, and then in my case the rear diff is the click in style, and some of them have a pin through them as well, so I've just used the screwdriver to pop it out. Okay, so now you've taken this bolt out and you've popped this out of the diff. It's basically a matter of just swing this hub out and that can just hang down like so. Same on the other side, and then it's just a matter of these 4 bolts holding the diff, or the tail of the diff here. Then you got 2 studs up here with some nuts, and the diff will just come out like so. So, as you saw, easy peasy, diff out. Alright, so I finally got these friggin' old bushes out. Oh my god, they were a prick. As you see, first thing I did was get the hacksaw, get it in there, cut the bottom out as best as I can, basically a slot all the way through. And then you just got to start off with a small flathead screwdriver, get in under it and fold it up, and then just kind of bend it out, and then it should just poke through. That one went pretty well, but this one was a bit more of a prick. I ended up having to heat it up with the torch, and it actually did help a fair bit. Made it more malleable and just kind of popped out. But I spent about an hour and a half on them, so factor that in when you're doing it. So Brett's here again, new day, and we're gonna do the white line rear diff front poly diff locks, which basically take all the flop out of that. So these will actually introduce some more NVH, but I don't give a shit. Alright, so preparation is key for these bushes because they are a really tight tolerance. So I've got some 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going through, rubbing off any burrs. I'm also going to slightly arris the leading edge where the bush goes in, and we will be lubing this shit out of these as well. You will need a special pressing tool, which we'll show you when we get around to doing it. In the meantime, we're going to pull this diff cradle completely out, give it a good degrees and a bit of a birthday. So we'll be back in a sec. Alright, so before we put that cradle in, we're going to put the rear diff bushings in. So what we're going to do is just chamfer this leading edge of the bush, or the carrier for the bush, whatever you want to call it. So I'll just chuck the lathe on. So that should hopefully make life that little bit easier, but I think be prepared to see plenty of swearing and carrying on when we try to get these in. So just a little bit, could probably go more if I wanted, but what do you reckon? That'd be alright?
Yeah, knock her in.
Better than nothing. So I'll do the other one and then do some shit. Alright, so it's back from the washing. It actually doesn't look that much better, to be honest. So we got the instructions. So they're saying on the 93 to 2000 models, you need both bushings on the top, which I'll show you. That's basically what it comes with. So you've got a 10mm one that goes towards, yeah, so that's the top, the 10mm. And then for 93 to year 2000, they've got to have this one in between. And then the 4mm one goes underneath. And it purely just wedges like that. So I guess we'll put this cradle back in the car and then bolt up one side just loosely and then slip that in, put that on, put the bolt in. And always use your bushing grease too. Alright, so I actually think I have a later model rear cross member because the drivetrain was out of an 07 Rex. So you can see here why you don't need the center bushing for the later models. So don't need it. That just sits in there like that.
Nice.
Alright, so bushes are tapered. Also have sanded up and beveled the leading edge on this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's all nice and smooth. As you can see there, it's got a slight bevel on it, so that'll help us get it started. Right guys, so we got one in. I'll give you guys an exploded view off the car on the setup that we used. So starting from the rear, we got one of these the exact same diameter as the little boss, so we knew that the rod was actually centered. So that goes through. Then obviously the bush goes on. And we had to machine up this little adapter to push on the, oh, which one is it? This one, sorry. To push on the steel case, because we tried at first pushing straight on the poly and it just kept skewing the bush. So that's like that. And we've got an appropriate size, another hardened steel one that's actually the same size. If you can get them all the same diameter, that's good, because then you can keep them symmetrical and know that it's pushing straight. Another thing to note, obviously plenty of grease on this. Plenty of grease, I'm using moldy grease on all these mating surfaces, any rotating surfaces, like between the washer and stuff. And that goes on. And we've got our nut, which obviously tightens down. So it'll be going that way, back to front, and then we just push it in. The most key thing is first keeping those centered, because that will ensure that you're basically on the right path. And then you just got to keep eyeing, make sure that it's, you know, perfectly even that way, also across there. So X and Y axis, you want to get them. You see there? So note that that's the way the bush goes. Well, apparently. Hopefully. Too late now. They ain't coming out. So you know, once you started, it does go pretty easily, thankfully. But I was kind of dreading these. I also would hate to do this on the driveway without a hoist.
I mean, if you had a puller like this and you're all set up, the car was high enough off the ground, you'd be alright.
Yeah, I suppose it wouldn't be too bad actually if you get it to the right height.
Yeah.
You know when you're like comfortable lying down?
Yeah, and you're working above you. You're not trying to half sit up.
Yeah. Yeah, you do get good abs from lying under the car with it on jack stand. That's how I get so ripped.
Yeah, we're all ripped.
Yeah. So as I said before, lube is key, because you can feel the heat coming out of that already, just from like small winds like that. Alright, so you can see the bush is in. The last thing to do, I'll smooth the shadow, is pop these steel inserts in. Just a bit of lube on them, they pop right in. And then just grease up the faces of these, ready to take some nuts and bolts and some diff action. And Brett's already chucking this in. Mostly. Fuck, you're almost done, mate. Keep it up. I might just go over and lie down, alright?
Go on, rest.
Alright guys, so we've got the diff support lock, fuck whatever they're called, in. 10mm one on the top and the 4mm on the bottom. Just check that they're perfectly aligned when you tighten all these up. So do you want to give us a demo on the difference now, Brett? I don't know if you guys remember before. I'll have to have a look through and see if we have some footage. But that thing basically sagged down like at 45 degrees.
And that's pulling it down. That's
Yeah.
not just dropping down.
That's fucking impressive. Alright, what do you reckon? A bit of tucker and then chuck the diff in?
I can chuck the diff in.
Yeah, alright. So this is the R180 rear differential. This one in particular is, I'm pretty sure, it's a plated rear diff, which is the pick out of them, I think. It's a mechanical LSD center diff, and here you can see a size comparison. So the R180 is taller, also probably not that much wider. Mainly it's the 180 means 180mm crown wheel, so 180mm, 160mm.
Special K.
And it's special K. And you can see I've given it a nice coat of engine enamel. It looks pretty sexual. Would you agree?
Yep.
Compared to this one. But don't worry, I'll clean this one up and I will sell it and it'll be good as new.
I think the easy giveaway is that solid plate.
Yeah.
Versus the...
That's right, that's a solid plate. Also, there was something else.
Star, was there? Somewhere.
I do remember seeing one somewhere. When we find it, we'll put a photo on if we remember.
Oh, there, right there.
There it is. It's a little pentagram. There we go. Tail shaft in. Yeah, why not? Rear diff is in. We have lost the washers. Actually, to be honest, we can't remember what was there. We're going to have to look around for the washers. So that is how it goes together if you've forgotten since you pull it apart. Up the bolts come through, then this plate goes on, then these nuts sandwich the plate and the diff, and these side ones go in, and then there's one final cover plate here once we put the tail shaft in, which is what we're getting set to do now. So for the moment I'm not going to run a bigger fuel return line just because the car's not going to be boosting off its tits quite yet. So I'm just going to leave it the factory line. It should be right up to about at least 500 horse according to Aeromotive's chart. So anyway, I'll put this camera down and we'll chuck this drive shaft in, tail shaft I should say. Hopefully it fits. Should, but we'll see. Alright guys, so we've come across our next, well it's not really a hurdle, but I thought we'd better show you guys. We're hoping we could just keep my standard shafts and bolt them in. They did plop in, they do fit, except when we turn the shaft, hopefully you can see, we're getting nada. So, we've pulled this bad boy out and we've done some measuring. We checked the spline lengths. It starts to, the R180 it starts to engage about 55mm in, so we've got plenty on there. And then we checked the diameter, so that is 26mm. And we check here, ooh, about 28mm. So that's why. So we're not exactly sure what these shafts are off. They came with the gear. It could be a hybrid, like Brett was saying, it looks the same.
Thickness.
It could be a hybrid. Actually, one sec, Brett. Ooh. How's that? Oh. Oh. Our next problem.
So it is, this might be an R180 shaft.
Okay, shit just got interesting. Luckily I do have the hubs, they're not in the best condition, but... Okay, well it looks like we're not finishing this tonight.
No.
Okay, so it is now about 9 o'clock at night. We won't be doing that. I think tomorrow I'll go home and get the hubs. Hopefully they're in decent condition. I know the fucking wheel bearings aren't the best in them.
If they're R180 hubs, Brembo's might bolt straight onto
It doesn't have a backing plate though.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh.
Alright, so the drivetrain is in, bar the rear hubs and shafts. As you saw before, the reason why we can't do that. I'm just waiting for some bearings and some bushings, but for now it's time to do some fabrication. So, I need to adapt from my bigger aftermarket turbo, GDX 3576, down to my factory exhaust. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So if you can see up there, where the light's shining, that's the 3-inch outlet of the turbo. That's got to come down and meet into here, which is the 3-inch dump, or 3-inch mid-pipe I should say. And then also I've got to put the wastegate back in and then do a bit of a sneaky screamer pipe just down here to make it look kind of stealth. So, good thing is I've already got this part of the exhaust, if I can find it. There we go. So I've already got this. This went to my old TD, oh fuck, whatever it was. VF28 I think. So I've basically just got to cut it off here and then rehash from there up to the turbo. So it shouldn't be too much work. And that's about it. And then when it's all done, I'm going to pull it back off the car and ceramic coat it with the black VHT flameproof. So I'll try to get some footage. It's pretty boring, it's just cutting and welding. So alright, so I'm making a bit of progress. I've got this section now all tacked up, running under here. All I gotta do now is, where did it go? Chuck on my V-band somewhere about there, and then dump pipe can disconnect from the mid pipe. So I've also done a bit of a couple of bends there just to clear the top of the gate. Probably can't even see that. So I'll just literally be the rest of the bend here, a flex. I'll probably put my wideband sensor somewhere here. I like to keep them probably about 600 mil or so away from the turbo. This promotes a better and longer life for the sensor. So, alright guys, about to call it a night. Good progress today. I had to skip out throughout the day for a few hours, so I should have been done about 3 hours ago, but dump pipe and modified mid pipe, or you know, part of the mid pipe is done, as you can see. So this is the dump from the turbo here. Down. That one's going to be bunged off because that was a bit of the old pipe. Got a new spot for my wideband there, and then down into a V-band. Then it keeps coming down through there, and then into the cat. And then I've got to do the wastegate screamer pipe, and also plumb that in. I also need to check what springs in that wastegate to make sure I'm not boosting its tits off. Anyway, in the click of a finger, you will see me tomorrow. I used to be a fan of the shiny Stano look, because this is all stainless, but I'm just over it now. I actually like the black, and now that I've found a durable high temp black, which is this stuff here. This stuff works wonders. So as long as you prep it right, this stuff lasts for ages. So it's just a more stealthy look basically. The dump pipe is on the car. I'll show you guys before I lift it back up. See there, hopefully, dump pipe. And you can just see the top of the gate, just there. So that will have a stealthy little screamer. I'll also probably heat wrap this dump. I've also got a turbo beanie for that. Guys, the exhaust is back on. It's looking quite stealthy and quite pimp, if you ask me. So I'll give you guys a rundown. I'll start from the front, I guess. So it's kind of hard to see, but you see wastegate there, wastegate dump tube, aka screamer pipe, coming stealthily out underneath the dump pipe there. Got my wideband sensor in there. I'm only running a wideband. I don't need the narrow band because I'm using the wideband as a narrow band, which is a cool thing you can do in ECU labs, which frees up another input into the ECU. So yeah, dump pipe out of the turbo, you see I've heat wrapped it. And if you're wondering why there's water dripping, it's because I actually tried the method of soaking the heat wrap in water and then wrapping, and it actually does fucking work a lot better. So definitely do that. So it comes down here, this is all 3-inch. Down through this mid pipe, as you can see I've got it all tucked up like as close as possible. Like there's, you know, a finger gap there. I'm using the factory STI. I think most of the Subis come with this little hanger there, so that comes in handy. You can just hook it on and then hook all your V-bands up. It's another thing, V-band connections everywhere. So it comes through here, 3-inch, another V-band from the Cat. 3-inch V-band, 3-inch mid pipe still. 3-inch resonator. I don't know how much backling's left in that because it's pretty raspy. Then we go into a 3-inch V-band, and then we step up to 3.5-inch. And you can also see my little checkout I've done just to clearance the axle a bit. I know some people are going to be, oh, it's such a restriction. Da, 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 da. Look, it's 3.5-inch pipe. It's about 1/2 inch deep, not even. So really it goes back to 3-inch, what it is there anyway. So 3.5-inch through here into my custom fitted X-Force Varex. You can see the little motor up here. For anyone who doesn't know, hopefully you can see that. You can see that little valve. That opens and shuts. I've actually cut the tip that comes with it off and welded a different one on. I've welded the tip a bit lower so I can push the body of the muffler up. So yeah, it kind of fits in there nice and neatly. So that is the rundown on the exhaust. I'm actually very excited and nervous to hear how this thing sounds. It's been many years since I've heard this running, so